Welcome to the RapidForm castle building tutorial. In this video we'll show you how to build castles using pre-made parts and also some other general techniques for making larger structures. The RapidForm wand pack has a variety of different wands, castle wands 1 and 2, some other cubes and tower wands and things like that. Let's start with the simple parts of Castle Wand 1, which basically is used for constructing towers. You'll note that I have 3 of the same wand out, but they have different configurations. All wands are like that. When you right click on them, you get the settings dialog where you can select the features of that wand. In the case of the castle wand, all it does is have a variety of different blueprints. In this case, this one creates a small tower base part. The towers come in 3 parts: the base, the middle part, and the top. And let's go ahead and see what the base looks like. It's a 5x5 tower, 2 stories tall, with a white marker block showing where to put the next section. In that case, use the middle section and it creates a middle section with windows and, similar to the bottom, the ladder going up and a torch. You can do this as many times as you like, and of course you'll want to top it with a tower top, which is the 3rd part. And here we have a nice little 3-story defensive tower. As with all RapidForm wands, you can undo after you've done it, but as long as you don't quit. If you don't like the placement or you're just experimenting with what might look good. The Castle Wand 2 has more complex structures. It has gatehouses and battlements and castle wall sections. I usually start by placing the gatehouse. It's the most significant feature typically of any of these, and kind of anchors the overall design. This is the small gatehouse, and is actually, we're looking at the back. They're constructed from the back, so it's easier to place the walls and other battlements. Here's the front of the small gatehouse. Now the Castle Wand 2, the small wall section, is 2 blocks wide and 3 blocks deep. And you'll notice it was constructed to the right. So when we're placing this, we want to click and have it constructed to the right. Most of the castle pieces have marker blocks to allow you to line things up more effectively. So in this case, we'll take the marker block, we'll count out 2 squares, and we'll place our small wall. And notice how it's nicely lined up against the castle, right up against the door for the 2nd floor, and the battlements line up nicely. Continue this pattern, sliding out 2 more, another wall section, 2 more, another wall section, etc. And you quickly get gatehouse with supporting tower. You can do the same thing on the other side. Find the marker block. We don't move out because it constructs to the right. Find the marker block, wall section, and wall section. The battlement's the same way. It's going to construct right up against the wall. So we click on the ground and we get a nice battlement section, which has some nice safety features and ability to kind of constrain your enemies. Also provides fire against the front of the gatehouse. As with all these, if you don't like it, you can deconstruct it using the undo wand. Now what's that look like with the tower? Again, we use our marker block to figure out where to place the tower. We run out, but in this case, knowing the tower is a 5x5 tower, we need to slide back 1 extra block. Notice though, it placed a marker block for us to make it easier to place subsequent wall sections. So we can go out 2, place our next wall, place our next wall, place our next wall, and now we have the beginnings of a nice little keep. We can place our middle section at the white block, our top section, and now we have a nice corner tower to defend against. In these cases, the towers don't actually have any doorways, so you should come along afterwards and put in some doorways. Be mindful of the ladder. And as usual, if you don't like it, you can deconstruct it and put it somewhere else. Let's clean this up real quick. Takes this a little while to catch up sometimes. Now, along with the small gatehouses and the like, there's also medium and large. I won't demonstrate the medium here. Let's go straight to the large, as it's a fairly substantial construction. Again, I like to place the gatehouse first, as it anchors the entire design. So let's place the large gatehouse. Again, we have large gatehouse, large castle wall, and large castle tower. Those little towers are not going to be sufficient for the large ones. And as I said, it's a fairly significant endeavor. You're going to want to give the machine a little bit while to catch up, as a lot of blocks were changed. Notice it's still a little choppy, but pretty soon it'll settle down. The wall is 4 blocks wide instead of 2. Again, here's our marker block. Count out 4, place a tower or place a wall section. 4, 2, 3, 4, another tower or wall section. 2, 3, 4, and another wall section. Notice this one has interior buttressing. Again, using the marker block, we can place the tower. This time we don't have to back up. It's in the exact right alignment. And we click and we get a nice corner tower. And notice that the corner tower is stitched right in at the right level with the wall, and there's also that hollow wall part we saw before. So from the front, here we have a nice, fairly large gatehouse, large tower, dual level wall with protective roof against archery fire. Now, if you don't like this, again, you can go ahead and remove it all through the use of the undo wand. I will leave the mid-size ones up to you guys to experiment with. Now, I talked about using those chunks, and now there's ways to kind of create your own freeform. If you don't like that type of wall, you don't like that kind of gatehouse, here's some advanced tricks for creating larger structures. So let's look at, first, let's get this nice large tower again. There's the bridge wand, which might seem kind of strange to be using it for making castle walls. But there's a setting on the bridge wand for how you do the bottom. Instead of using piers, the bridge wand will create a wall underneath it, which is not very nice because it will follow the terrain. The top will be flat, and the bridge will continue to, or at least the wall will continue to follow the terrain underneath. Let's look at the settings on the bridge wand. So it's stone bricks. We've got set for post to wall. Size large, which means it's going to be 3 blocks wide. We construct it, and we have a nice 3-block wide wall from the point in which we click. So it's arbitrary height where you click, so it fits in really well with that corner tower. And we can do this as many times as we like. Again, it'll fill in gaps, and so if we were to come out this side of the building, going across the ravine over there, it would completely fill in underneath. One of the nice features if you're going across uneven terrain. Another way to create a wall is through using the road wand. I'm sure that seems kind of surprising. The road wand also has the ability to specify height as well as depth. Normally it goes 1 block down. You can specify additional depth if you want the road to have a deeper road bed. The road wand, of course, follows the terrain. It goes up and down over the blocks. This allows you to have a wall which follows the terrain as well. This is kind of interesting or neat if you want to create things like the Great Wall of China or something like that. So let's create a wall 32 blocks long. 1 block on the right, 1 left, so total width of 3, height 10, depth of 2. And now we have a nice bumpy wall following the terrain. Now maybe you don't want it to be straight. Also, with the road wand, it follows waypoints, and that still works for the wall. So you right click, shift right click, shift right click, shift right click, and then the final right click to start it all off, and it will follow those waypoints, providing that slightly curvy wall. Notice this does not turn corners, and so you're going to have to come up to a gatehouse or something else, as it won't turn corners very well. All it does is shift back and forth. But that's another quick way to start your walls to build your somewhat more asymmetric or unusually shaped castles. You then have to go across, go back and fill in the battlements yourself or other sort of things. But yeah, this is the starting point for making some of these interesting castle shapes. So again, you can do straight walls, very wide, you can do curvy walls, you can do the bridge walls. Additionally, in 1.3, there's an interesting feature for making cubes. and towers has been around for a while as well. So towers makes an arbitrary sized tower with various floors. So right now this one is configured for made out of stone bricks, a circular tower. The outside wall radius is 12, inside radius is 9, which will give us a 3-block thick wall. 4 floors, 1 basement. Expand inside would mean it would kind of get larger as it goes up and thinner walls. Where am I going to click? Center of the tower, the edge of the tower, and where's the stairs? And they always have stairs. And so this will construct for us a basic tower with wooden floors, 1 basement, that we can use as a starting point for making our own castle. Now notice I say starting point because it doesn't have any windows or battlements or a lot of those sort of things that would really give it those sort of final touches. Again, undo wand works. You can revert back to what you want. Along with the tower wand, there's a circle wand that doesn't do any of the floors or anything else. It just does a big circle. That works as you can imagine. I won't demonstrate that. The cube wand, which is new in 1.3, is used for creating solid cubes, hollow cubes, or just frames. And so this is, you specify the size in terms of how many blocks up, to the left, the right, down, and away. And so this is a fairly large structure. Let's scale this back a little bit. So 15 blocks away, 8 to the left, 8 to the right, 1 down in the ground, and up, let's say 15 blocks. Should give us a fairly large cube. And this will be, we specified a solid cube, so it has blocks the whole way. Now, this would be pretty tricky to build a castle in, to carve out, right? I mean, yes, you can use the converter wand to convert chunks to air, things like that, but it's really hard to tell what's going on inside. So one of the tricks I use is to, instead of making the starting off with a big chunk of stone, I start off with a big chunk of glass. I usually use gray glass because it works out pretty well. So in the case of the cube wand and a variety of other wands, if you shift right click on the material, it will set the material to that type. Well, you got to say stored block. In which case we're going to create that same structure but with glass. This allows us to then go ahead and create the internal structure and see where all the floors are. So let's go ahead and make, hey, look, we're going to make a wooden walkway here for the interior door, and here's where we can use the fill wands and the like to create the floors for you more easily. We're going to have stairs going up, and we're going to do this all by using these blocks in this clear glass area to make it easier to see what we're doing. So you can see more easily where your hallways are, where your rooms are, and plan the thing out before you then use the converter wand and convert to stone bricks at the end and fill your castle in. Nice little trick. Once you've then made your castle the way you like it, you of course can, you want to give it some final touches. And one of the tricks for that is using the aging wand, which converts stone blocks, sandstone, red sandstone, and the like, uses their kind of aged variants. In the case of the stone blocks, it makes them the cracked versions and the mossy versions, and it doesn't do just the surface, it does the whole way through. So you'll see those show up on the inside as well. You don't need to do that manually. And you can specify a radius and chance of conversion. If you want to say, gee, the whole thing is going to be converted over, it'll convert the whole thing. But usually, again, it works with undo. Usually 40% is enough, and you want to just kind of add a little bit of coloring here and there. Okay, that's pretty much it for the wand pack, or for the castle wand creation. You can imagine all the potential things you can do with it. Thanks for coming, and I hope you enjoy the RapidForm wands. If you make some interesting castles, please post them to the page. Look in the comment section for a link to the Minecraft forum page. Thank you.